Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Farming Valley. So we're picking back up after last episode. It's the very next morning, and today we are going to be working on clay automation and then thusly brick automation, which means after today we can resume building. So I'm super excited about that. I'm very excited about that because I'm ready to... I want to work on this structure, but even more so I want to work on the shipping building so we can go ahead and start laying that out. Get these drawers moved over and in more permanent places and not cobblestone drawers, mind you. Do redstone control and really be able to push our factory to the next level. So, right now everything's chunking away still. Everything's running smoothly. We got mana in there. We got mana, well, in there a little bit. We got mana over here a little bit. And if we have time today, we're going to route the charcoal around so that it doesn't build up down there. Over here, yeah, so there's a little bit over there, and I'm sure there's a little bit over, well, can't see down there, but anyways, we'll believe that there's a little bit down there, chances are there is. Okay, so what we're going to do is, let's actually pop down to the house. Well, actually, there's two flowers in particular that I'm going to want today, and first up is the Clayconia, which we already have, and then second up, Ranuncarpus, which I apparently cannot spell, there we go. This is Rune of Earth, Yellow, Orange, and Redstone Root. Okay. Let's pop down to the house, and I'm not 100% sure if I have Runes of Earth made up or not. We have, yes, Rune of Earth. Awesome. And then the orange. I do not have the orange. Okay. Well, actually, I think I've got them over at the house, right? I just don't have them in petal form. Or not the house, but the storage building. Yes, I've got them. We'll grab that. And then we're also going to need yellow, which I don't know if I have over there or not. Chances are I do, because yellow we used for other stuff in the past, but I think we have. Because I think it's used for something. Let's find out. No, I don't have yellow. Okay. Good. Let's grab this. I'm going to put this in here for right now. And we'll go ahead and grow these. 2 is fine. I don't need a bunch of this. I just need 1 Ranuncarpus. You know, it's funny because, like, the last couple days I've been working on a bunch of Divine Journey stuff. And it's actually quite funny because in Divine Journey when I'm making flowers at this point, because we're approaching endgame within that series, like, very quickly. Like, technically I think we're already at endgame, but I was doing some work with Botania, which the episode... I don't have a bucket. Yeah, there we go. I know the episode for that won't be coming out until the same day as this one. And that's simply because we're reaching a point with prep and stuff where the schedule will be broken, I'm sure. Many times over it's going to be broken because of the fact that we've reached a point... Oh, I need shears. I need a piece of grass. But we're reaching a point in endgame within that series where, like, for example, when I was working on Botania, like, in this series, we prep a couple flowers, and okay, we're good to go for a setup. On that series, I was prepping like 40 flowers, like, it's a big difference. Because, of course, in that series, like, the costs are so just astronomically high for things. I went ahead and got some extra of that, so. And let me pop over to the storage building. Let me grab a piece of redstone real quick. Do we not have a... Yeah, we don't have a Sojourner Sash or anything in this series. We are definitely going to have to do that. We're going to have to rectify that soon. Very soon. Oh, I had redstone on me. Duh. Okay. Because it would be nice to have a little bit of a speed increase when we're not on the bicycle. So. There we go. And a seed. There we go. Ranuncarpus. Okay. And then I want to go ahead and grab this Clayconia, of course. And I think that's about it for right now. I think that's about it. I'm also going to want... I may want a mana pool, but we'll figure out where we're going to put this at first. Let's pop over to the storage building now, and I want to make this into a floating flower, and I should have mystical purple, and I guess maybe we'll make both of them into floating flowers, and I'm going to want a pasture seed as well, but I think I want both of these to be floating flowers. I think I like floating flowers more in the factory. I don't really want to put down grass. And I think both of these are going to be visible, like, from above ground. Of course, if they're underground, it really doesn't matter too much, but when they're above ground, I don't want them to be visible. So floating raining carpus and floating clayconia. Okay. There we go. And let's pop back up to the factory. And let's figure out where we're going to lay this out. So, and actually, I may need to make some upgrades today for like charcoal, gravel, sand, glass, maybe. I don't know. We'll tackle that in just a second. Okay, so where do we want to put this at? And I'm thinking we'll have it, let's see, the raining carpus, let's see. I think it can consume mana, right? To like increase range or something. Yeah, giving it mana increases its range, but it's optional. I don't want to give it mana. A lot of those flowers that increase range, there's not a whole lot. I mean, in some cases there's a point to it, but in our situation, we don't really need that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the... Okay, I think what we're going to do is we're going to set the raining carpus up just right over here near the mana pool. And I'm thinking if we had it setting like... Because it doesn't have to be, you know, right up on where we're going to be placing the items. So I'm thinking we're going to have the raining carpus just sitting kind of off to the side of the mana pool, like right in there. Okay? And I don't want this to bind. Let me just grab a mana pool real quick. Because, of course, these try to auto-connect to... I want you to go to that one, and then we'll break that. So now it doesn't have a mana pool. Awesome. There may be an easier way to do that. I don't know. That's just how I've always done it. So that'll be fine. And then what I want to do is we're going to have to change the block that's underneath this raining carpus. So let's go ahead and just pull this up. And let's pull this up so I can get that block out of there. Okay, I tell you what. We're going to go, and this is... It could change in the future, but I think what I'm going to go with, at least for right now, and I think I have an idea for how to implement this into the build once we get to that. I want to go with just the rusty scaffold, and we're just going to put that right underneath there. Okay, so now the raining carpus recognizes that rusty scaffold as the block that it, of course, places items onto. And so then what I want to do is we're going to come up just right up here. And we're going to put this just right above the mana pool, pretty much. Let me go ahead and bring this out just a little bit. And I'm going to break this block off. So we're going to have kind of like this little floating structure. It's going to eventually be connected up to stuff. But for right now, it's going to be floating. And we're going to put that right there. And then our clayconia, we're going to put right there. And it's bound to that mana pool directly beneath it. Or not directly, but directly and right off to the side of it. Okay. And is that... let's see, how many blocks is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's going to be good. So, for example, if I was to drop down concrete, does it recognize it? Yes. Okay, good. Good. So what happens is the raining carpus then places this concrete up here. Any blocks that are dropped within range of it, has to be blocks. You know, you can't drop like... I couldn't drop Wand of the Forest. It's not going to do anything with Wand of the Forest. It has to be like a placeable block. So if I set that down right there, you'll notice it doesn't do anything. It can't do anything with a Wand of the Forest because you can't place a Wand of the Forest down on the ground in block form. So, alright. And then what we're going to do is, the only concern right now is the mana has not had time to build up in this as of yet. So I think what I'm going to do, there's plenty of mana in this system to run cobblestone for like a year. So let's go ahead and just bind this mana spreader over for a minute. Once this mana pool starts getting mana built up in it, then I'll resume sending mana that way. But that cobblestone generator takes so little mana. Pretty much nothing. And we're still good on space. Yeah, we're okay on space for a minute. Alright, so that's in place. And now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to run conveyors. We're going to have to run our conveyor system over. So let me make... first up, I'm going to need an item router. I need to sort that book out. Like, clean up the teleports and stuff. But I don't think there's any way to move them... No, it's based on the ones that we set, like which order. So I'd have to reset all of them, I think. Would be the only way to do it. If you guys know of another way to do it, let me know. Okay, I need iron and redstone. Back up to the factory. And let's go ahead and get ourselves an item router. There we go. And we're going to set this guy up like Okay, we're going to set this right there. And I got to thinking, technically I don't necessarily need to set these filters like all the ones on the green. It doesn't really matter. The only thing is I'm going to want sand to go this way and that way. And if I set it to just this way, as sand, it's going to pull all the sand over to the Clayconia, which I definitely don't want. Okay, so let me grab a few of these things. That is the green side and white side. Okay. So white side, we're going to say you can take sand. Green side can get gravel, sand, what else? Gravel, sand, oh, and glass. There you go. You can have all those things. Okay, so the items are getting pulled through. And then what I want to do is I want to get a hopper. And there's one other flower I'm actually going to want, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Put that there. Let me put the hopper sitting there facing over. Like so. And then what I want to do is time to lay out conveyors. So we'll put a conveyor there, there, and I can walk underneath these. Okay. Do I have any cobble? I think I have some kind of bricks, right? Well, I'll use these concrete. That'll be fine. Let me break this off for just a minute, so it quits pulling items. This factory is a death trap, I swear. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to have to get these conveyors over to the Ranning Carpus. That's what we need to do. So, let's just come out like right here. And we'll put down, see, another conveyor belt sitting there. And actually I think that's high enough. And then we'll just run these over. I don't know, I want to, there we go. There. Okay, so we're going to have these come over like that. And then what I want to do is just, let's see, Ranning Carpus is sitting right there. Rotate that. Okay, so the next conveyor I place is going to be directly over the Ranning Carpus, which is where we want it. And so what I want to do is I want to make a new conveyor that we haven't used yet, which is the dropping conveyor belt. This right here. Okay, I just need an iron trapdoor. What's going to be fun is when we actually put all the supports up for the conveyors, like just to make them look like they're actually sitting on something. It's going to be probably, I'm kind of thinking chisels and bits for that, but we'll see. We'll see. I have a couple different ideas I want to play around with. And usually whenever I want to play around with stuff on this pack, what I have to do is just, I copy the world over and like duplicate it into like a test world so that I can play around. And then set the test world to like creative mode, and then I can play around and figure out exactly kind of what I'm wanting to do to some degree. So of course plans change. That's the worst part, and you don't have time for plans to change. All right, so the dropping conveyor belt we're going to put directly over the Ranning Carpus. Yeah, that's good. And well, I guess technically I could just have the conveyor just fall off, because what I was thinking is I put an open crate there because like. Items come down this, and they go over the dropping conveyor belt. It's not going to do anything. Oh, it does. It does drop stuff, does it? Really? I was thinking it had to be an inventory. Well, no, then again, I used it for Craft of the Titans, and we just had it drop right there. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense. If you put a block underneath this, though, it'll just go right over it. It's not going to even act like there's a dropping conveyor belt there. See, it just acts like a normal conveyor, but, yeah, there we go. Making sure it still worked, but... Okay, so anyways, the dropping conveyor belt's going to drop the sand that comes over it. It's going to drop it and stick it right up here. Then the Clayconia can use that sand once it's placed. Of course, the sand block has to be placed down for the Clayconia to turn it into clay. I wish it turned it into clay blocks. Wouldn't that be nice? Like if we were getting a clay block every time the Clayconia ran instead of just a piece of clay. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're actually going to have the conveyor belt then wrap back around. So the conveyor belt is then going to circle around. Yeah, I think I want it like this. And there's a couple ways I could do this. I could just have it fall off the conveyor onto that. Or I could do it with a dropping conveyor. That would work too. Like we just saw, it would work pretty well. I go there. Okay, that's perfect. So it's pretty much make like a full circle, right? And so technically what we could do if we wanted to stop the Ranning Carpus, the clay production, we could just have a piston come out and block dropping conveyor. That's not how I'm going to do it. We're going to use the hopper with redstone control, but you could do something like that if you so desired. Now let me dump all these items. And right now, this isn't backing up on cobblestone. You'll notice like all the cobblestone is just getting dumped directly into this system. We'll change that once we get down to the storage building. But I mean, in truth, how much cobblestone do I actually need? And how much cobblestone do I actually have beyond what I need? So, I guess technically, because I mean, if the items were coming, whoops, if the items were coming down this, okay, that doesn't quite work so well. Though I guess technically, one thing we could do, and I think I would like it more so, let's grab that. I know I'm picking up like tons of items right now. Let's break this off. We're gonna set a conveyor there. I swear I could not get this thing to like... I don't want it to go that way though. Like, look at that. It's just like, nah, no thanks. Is it just a visual bug, maybe? Well, let's do this instead then. Let's, so this conveyor is going to feed over here. That one's going to feed up and around. And then we'll just bring this over like this then. I guess I could have tested to see if it was a visual bug, but that's fine. What in the world? Conveyors are all kinds of broken today. Alright, so then we're going to have conveyor setting there and conveyor setting right there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a visual bug because, like, it's still not, like... I don't know. Let me pop down to the house real quick so that these chunks kind of somewhat get unloaded. Or we're going to pop over to the... Oof, that costs a lot of XP though. We're just going to pop over here and then back over to here. Man, come on. Why you gotta do this to me? It's totally like covering up my drawers. But these drawers are going to be gone soon, so that's fine. That's okay. They act like they're going down. So I don't know. I'm gonna leave it like that for now, because some of these conveyors are gonna get reworked soon anyways. Once we have the actual storage area, so that'll be fine. This dirt had to have been from me because I don't have anything that should be producing dirt. So anyways, the items come down the conveyor. The glass or the sand does comes around. It gets dropped here onto the random carpus. Then the random carpus, of course, can place it, and then they come around like this. These conveyors are slightly subject to change once we get the final conveyor system in, because a lot of this stuff, once we get those drawers out of the way, you know, I think that's the biggest thing right now is the drawers out of the way. We're gonna have to rework the conveyor so they send stuff down to the shipment area, but for now this will work. And then what I want to do is we're gonna have a hopper setting right here, feeding into this conveyor. And this hopper, let's pop down to the storage building. There we go, item frame. And then let me grab a piece of clay, which I have upstairs. And then let me also grab, I think I actually have a brick up in the factory that I was holding on for drawers, right? So what we're going to do is, right over here, we're going to put... we'll put clay into this section here, and then we'll pull that out. So clay can get stored right there. And then I'm going to put, on this item frame, we are going to put in clay. Alright. And then what I want to do is... we still have to make bricks, which we're going to do that in just a second. That's simple. Another external heater setup. Let's go make a random carpus real quick. I mean, not a random carpus, a hopper hawk. And I think it's what, rune of air and then like some petals, right? And I know we've made them before, so we should have all the petals. Gray, light gray, redstone root, rune of air. There's our floating flower, and then I want a floating hopper hawk. And honestly, I may end up changing, we'll see later on. We'll see where the episode's at and everything. I may end up changing the hopper hawk that's up there, that's under the ground, into floating so that I can have 3 item frames. But we'll see. Well, no, I guess I really don't need 3. So anyways, back up to the factory, and then what we're going to do is we're going to stick our floating hopper hawk. We'll have it We'll put it right on top of the hopper. Should be good. And so now it knows it can only pick up clay, right? Because the item frame limits what it can pick up. And then we're going to stick our thing right there. It's going to start sending sand down. Okay, so here in just a second, we're going to see some sand get dropped on top of our random carpus. Like if I was to throw down sand right there, Hopper Hawk grabs it, good. And this will be walled in so the clay won't go flying every time. Yeah, okay, that's the problem, is we're just dropping too fast. Or is it because of the conveyor? Like if I was to throw that down. Yeah, it's because of the conveyor. Okay, I'm going to have to fix that. What we're going to do is actually fairly straightforward and simple, I think. But look at that, we're getting clay now. Let's see. I will say I've never tried to implement Botania and immersive engineering so much. So little hiccups like this are bound to happen. It happens. It's whatever. I'm going to make an open crate. Of course, open crate's going to drop stuff down. Oh, whoops. Whoops. Of course, this setup's not going to stay too much longer because we're going to automate living wood and living rock. It'll basically be pretty much the same setup as what I used in Sprout, I think. Because Sprout, we went very magical early on, and then we were moving into tech, and this pack we're doing a little bit vice versa. We're still using some magic, but I'm focusing on the tech aspect, and then we'll move more heavily into magic. So, well, I mean, kind of right now, we're kind of just mixing it all up. Like, there's no real differentiation in this pack between tech and magic. We're doing it all. So if we have that open crate sitting there, will it drop straight into yeah, it drops straight into an open crate. And then the random carpus should be able to grab it. Because the random carpus should like the open crate quite a bit. Yeah, did you see that conveyor just like flip up all of a sudden there? It may slow it down a little bit whenever it's stacking stuff, but I think for the most part that should be good. And we've got about a stack of clay right now, which isn't bad. It's not bad at all. Then we have this nice little conveyor ceiling. And we're going to put supports underneath it and all that. Like, not super thick. We'll still be able to walk underneath them. You may not be able to walk right underneath this, but, you know. That's like a super safety hazard is what that is. Like, you don't like, stick your head between conveyor belts like that. So, we may put a little bit of safety guards type stuff, but you're going to walk, like, right through here. It's going to, like I said, it's going to be really tight corridors through this side because, you know, this is all automation. So the only people that should be walking through here are like techs and stuff. I guess is what you would call them. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to start making bricks because that's the most important thing. Now eventually the clay and the bricks are going to get stored into compacting drawers, so I'm not going to worry about compacting them, you know, to make the brick blocks. I mean, if I'm just making brick items, that's fine by me right now. Though, actually, I do have compacting drawers over here. I could just grab some of these and, like, throw them into the mix. I'm not too worried about the clay. I don't have any use for clay. But maybe if I stick down... don't I have a brick over here? I think I have a brick. Yeah. We'll put this right there and then put bricks into that. There we go. Of course, that's just very, very temporary, but... It's really temporary at this point because, like, next episode, maybe... or the episode after, we're going to be building. So, alright, and then what I want to do is I want to get, I don't have any cobblestone up here. No, I'm going to have to, well, what am I talking about? We've got cobblestone up here. I just got to get it. I don't have it being stored. I need to split that off, but at the same time, like I said, I kind of just want gravel and sand at the moment. Oh, which I'm going to have to make upgrades for that soon. Very, very soon. And we may add additional item routers to prioritize the sand making clay a little bit more, because then, of course, then it's got to make bricks and all that. So, and we need a lot of bricks. But I want to make, just really, really quickly, an external, I don't know what I'm trying to spell there, external heater. And what I might do is prioritize bricks a lot, maybe. We could do that. We could have, like, super prioritization of bricks. Yeah, I'll tell you what we're going to do, and this is going to be semi-temporary. This will get moved around slightly, very, very slightly, once these drawers are all gone. But for right now, this is going to work very, very nicely for us. I'm going to stick the external heater setting... I'm actually going to put it like right there. That's going to get moved. That's one of the things that are going to get moved. But for right now, it's for convenience sake, and this is roughly where it's going to go. It's just not exactly how it's going to go. So this goes here, and I'm just going to connect the power up and over to that. Okay, so we got a power cable coming over, pulling power over to the external heater. There we go. It's already filled up. All this like free passive power is just wonderful. Honestly, now that we've got this set up, I might go mining for a little while. To let time pass so we build up bricks, and then also to get iron and stuff like that. Because we're definitely going to need it. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to prioritize bricks over clay. So any clay that comes down here, if there's space in the furnace, it's going to go into the furnace. And then if... let's see. Well, actually, I need to... Let me pull this up. Let's set the furnace setting right here instead for right now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a dropping conveyor belt. And then any time that the furnace is filled, then the clay will get sent down to down the line to get stored. But otherwise it's going to make bricks as much as it can. There you go, there goes some clay. And you can see it just dropped into the furnace. There we go, it's making bricks. And then what I want to do is let's make ourselves a hopper. And I know the factory is somewhat of a mess. Like, I love the factory, but it's kind of a mess right now. And a lot of it's just because of this big clump in the middle. It'll be gone soon, I promise. Very, very soon. Very, very, very soon. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to have these items come out. Well, let me actually... So conveyor is going to sit there. It's going to pull items out of the furnace. There we go. And then whenever we do the redstone control for this, if bricks are filled, we can just shut off this hopper and it's going to back up. It's going to back up the furnace, and then all of the clay is just going to get shipped down. Well, we're going to have a conveyor setting right there. It's going to pull the items out, and then it's going to take them up and away. And then we'll just have a conveyor belt setting right there. So then the bricks are going to link into the sorting system. Now, technically for this, I could just have hopper come down, hopper feed into this, you know, pretty much, but... now I'd rather do it like this. It's a bit closer to how it's going to be set up long term. And then all we have to do is just plug our conveyor right there, and there we go. Now bricks are getting shipped off, and here in a second, there we go. We have one brick block at the moment. So, alright. And then to help this out a little bit, we have a ton of this stuff right now. Let's go ahead and just dump a bit of sand into this. It's not going to be so bad once we have the redstone control. And what I may do is have, like, I don't know, maybe like an override or something. So if we want the factory to run, just override it. And everything can run, like, to be visually pleasing, which would be kind of nice. And then we could have, like, an efficiency setting. So that maybe, you know, you pull the efficiency setting and everything shuts off as it fills up. And then pull the override. And the stuff that's, like, pretty much free to make is just going to get made. So, yeah, see, it's stacking, and then the raining carpus gets it. That's fine. Normally, in normal circumstances, that's not going to be a problem. So, alright, so clay's going to get shipped down. And it's going to start making bricks. And after this runs for a while, I mean, it's definitely going to add up, so. Like, after I go mining for a bit and let this stuff build up, it's going to be, we'll have bricks to build for days. So. And there goes more sand. But see, it's so far back in the processing chain. That's why I may route a little bit extra sand over here and maybe a little bit extra gravel and stuff like that. I've got to do some tests. I'm not for sure if this item router... Let me actually test something really, really quick. I'm not going to pop into my test world. I'm just going to test it like here because we're going to need more item routers anyway, so I don't mind. We're going to set up an item router like setting right here. We're going to say that the yellow side is dirt. Green side is all filled out with dirt. And then we'll just stick a couple chests there and toss the dirt in. And we'll see how it routes it. So 23 dirt came to this side. Oh, wow. What in the world? Like, well, actually, I think because that stuff was stacked. If it's stacked, it's just going to route it all to one direction. There's 10 in this one. 10 in this one. Okay, so it's going to be equal regardless. That's fine. Man, this thing takes forever to break. Yeah, so we're not going to be able to use the item router in that way. But that's fine. That's okay. And then, like I said, once this... if we take a look at this mana pool that's down here... I mean, look at that. It's like it hasn't even moved. It's crazy. Well, then again, I mean, this is pumping mana over to it. And then one thing I can do is I could always let the gravel back up. So, like, where all this gravel's coming out here, I could say shut off this hopper, shut off this hopper. So sand pretty much just routes all the way through, and then I can shut off... oh, this one doesn't have a hopper. I need to put a hopper on this, actually. And I just had a really cool idea, I think. Once we set up the redstone control, which isn't too far away... Well, this setup is probably going to be a little ways off, what I have in mind, but once we get, like, knee-deep into, like, redstone control for the factory, I was thinking maybe in the office to have, like, levers that we can pull for manual, like, override. So, like, right now I want bricks, and that's the main thing that I'm after is bricks. So maybe I could override the gravel and stuff and the glass and, you know, the sand going over to make glass and all that stuff. Manual override that stuff so it shuts off. So all the sand gets routed to make clay and bricks. So, I think that would be good. Now, technically, I guess with this setup, we're not going to have a manual override to make clay instead of bricks. It's just going to be all the excess clay comes over here. But if technically, if I overwrite the hopper, then it's going to all back up. And then the clay is all going to come through. So that works. That works good. But what I want to do is I want to set up right over here where we have... Let me dump stuff real quick. Put that conveyor there, and then I'm going to do vertical conveyors right here, I think. And then we'll have... let's see, what's the bottom side's color? Black, right? And actually, I could put it right there instead. Yeah. I'll put the hopper there, and we're going to say the black side. Oh, that's a problem. Or it could be a problem. I've got to get the lights in here. Black side is gravel, glass, sand, in fact. There we go. That's a little bit better, and we have, you know, a little bit more open through here, somewhat. It's still really tight corridors, but that's fine. And that way we have a hopper here that we can override with redstone control. So, alright, and then what I want to do, just before we end out the episode, next episode we are going to do a little bit of cleanup stuff around here. I want to route the charcoal, like I was mentioning, and I want to handle birds' nests as well. But we don't have time in this episode. But what I want to do right now is... Let's pop down... Well, actually, I've got redstone right over here that I just dumped into this. And let me make just a couple redstone torches. And this is just a very rough redstone override. So, sand is coming out there. I want to shut off that. Okay, I don't want it to send any... I don't want it to send any sand to make clay right now. Or sand to make, not clay, to make glass. Now, it's still, in theory, it's still going to have to back up this, right? Or is it not going to with a redstone signal? Okay, there we go. Yeah. Sand is coming in here. Now, what I'm going to do temporarily is I'm actually just going to put dirt through there. So sand can't go in there at all. So all the sand's just going to immediately get routed over to here. Anyways, I'm going to put a lever right here. And we're going to... Yeah, it's going to start backing that up. And then I want to put... This one's already backed up with glass, so we don't have to worry about that one. This one right here, I'm going to go ahead and... I guess we'll just bring this over. Like that. And we'll just put a redstone torch. Oh, is that going to affect that conveyor belt? Yes, it is. Which there's a way I can handle that, like, to not have that happen, but... I can also just put... I can also just do this. Okay. So, like, you can actually make a conveyor so that it ignores redstone, but that's just as easy. So now what's going to happen is, like, of course, all the cobblestone is going to come down here. It's going to make gravel, but there's no space for the gravel to come out into this hopper. So all the gravel is going to get sent over here and make sand. The sand, since this is shut off, it's not going to be able to pump any to make glass, so all the sand's going to get sent down here. And since this hopper, which I'm actually going to, we'll do like that, it's fine. So now all the sand has to get routed up through here to make bricks. That way we can just kind of like boost the brick speed. We have 31 brick blocks right now, which isn't bad. It's not too bad at all. So that way we can kind of prioritize making the bricks. Now later on we'll put, like I said, redstone control. So like the natural state will be that once gravel drawer gets filled, then all the gravel is going to get sent to make sand from that point on. And then so on, you know. And then we'll put like manual overrides for situations like this so I don't have to like run around underneath all these conveyors and like grabbing items and all that mess. And instead... Is charcoal field? Charcoal is field. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to go make a thing for that real quick. But see, I don't really want to shut off the tree farm right now, so... Okay, so anyways, what's going to happen then is we'll have like manual control so we can say, you know, shut off these things and prioritize this, right? Even if, say, gravel's not filled, we can shut off gravel so all of the stuff goes to make sand and sand-based products. Is kind of what I'm thinking. We'll do that up in the little like foreman's office thing. So we'll have an override for that to override the natural order of things. And then we're going to have another override that basically makes it so that anything that's like pretty much free, so like cobblestone and maybe even the tree farm stuff, sand, gravel, so on and so forth, that stuff is going to just run. Even if it's getting voided, it's going to run. And then we'll probably do like a trash system, maybe like lava. There's no trash cans, but we may use like lava and just dump all the items into there at that point or something. I don't know. But that way we can have the factory running like non-stop. We may do void drawers or I don't know, you know, something to that effect so that the whole thing can keep running even when everything's backed up. So, or not everything keep running, but you know, a lot of the stuff will keep running. So we'll do something like that. Something to that effect. So we'll have a couple different redstone options for a couple different control features of our factory. It's kind of what I'm thinking, but that's in the future. But we are about to, like next episode, we're going to do some cleanup. I want to route the charcoal so it's a little bit more intelligent. And I also want to handle the bird's nests and just a couple of things like that. And then probably the episode after that, we are going to be building, maybe even next episode, we might do some building with the shipment area. So, and then we're going to get back up here and continue building up this factory as well. Hopefully having all that stuff routed to make bricks and clay means that, you know, there's 44 in there. That furnace should be able to run pretty much non-stop once it gets backed up. I mean, it should stay backed up and we should be producing excess clay to the point that I'm half tempted to make another furnace just to help out, but we'll see. We shall see. We got 43 brick blocks, but like I said, I'm probably going to do a little bit of mining between this episode and next. So some time will pass, we'll get some bricks built up, and then next episode, if we do cleanup and stuff, and then maybe a little bit of building, at least laying out some of the foundation, then we can kind of raise that building up as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and mark off clay and bricks. That area is going to get slightly moved around, but for the most part, it's pretty well how I want it. So I do believe. And that way we kind of have this like nice little, I don't want all that. Stop giving me these things. We have this nice little open area that we can kind of walk through, but back in there is like conveyor city. So, and you'll notice our mana pool is actually building up faster than the Clayconia is using it. I mean, the Clayconia is super cheap. That system is super cheap. So all this stuff should get backed up before long. So anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay up to date with when new videos come out. I do apologize about the state of the factory at the moment because it is somewhat of a mess, but that's about to get sorted here very, very soon, and I'm super excited for it. So we have a lot of free things coming in, though, which is what I was aiming for. Until next time, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.